Okay. Go to my phone setting. Just go to my phone setting because my computer line setting is in the high division locations because I'm adding 6, 7, and 8. So my computer is recognizing its time. Right? So just jump over to my phone. Yes. So remember, everything that you say through thought line changes line, position, location, and directions, right? So my computer is trying to get set up locations to a new moon setting, into new Wi-Fi, okay? But in position, location, of direction, okay? It's all set in signal. All right? So I'm going to end the stream location. All right. All right, so just jump on line setting locations. Hello. Yeah, so like I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. You have to be cautious what you do with your thought locations. You know, because I say 6, 7, and 8, and 9 interference to change position, location, and directions, right? The central communication system will be all levels. But it's just balancing these things up with your computer, your digital paths, and position, location, and directions, all right? All right. So sometimes I usually go on my phone if I have to. All right, so I'm going to reset position, location, and direction. Okay. Okay, so this is where we set locations. All right. Now, there's a 25,000 line setting in a graph line setter interference that's setting position locations into its division. All right. So once you understand that line, you have to understand the positions to your 12 DNA. This opens all communication setting. All right. So once you get into that, you come into the 6, 7, and 8. The 6, 7, 8 is set locations of 6-dimensional lines, but it's going to be in a 5-dimensional graph location. So it's going to be coming into a new binary reset location of a relay program that set locations into high setting. Okay, the spacing line can't survive setting locations in 8-dimensional space. So that's the importance of understanding location, what's happening with your crystal grids. Leaving the crystal grids and coming into your pyramid positions, into Merkaba, a new tesseract, and a new tetrahedron. Okay? So, it's all about getting everybody into their DNA track settings, okay, into 12-line setting. The barometer set location is position, right? But the binary setting location is setting high interference, okay? So it's very powerful when you come to higher level calculation, right? This positions your directions and how you see your set signals, okay? So it's set up locations of this line. So it goes from here to here. So the physical element is going to merge into a pyramid over time, okay? Really connect to the line connections where you're connected to all pyramids. And the position locations, once the physical element merges in position of direction, it becomes a full calculation setting, right? The elixir changes timelines. Time factor calculations comes into position all levels into the hieroglyphic locations of channel operation stream location. So once it comes into a hieroglyphic location of a channel line, it changes all direct location of signals. Okay. Now when you're changing signals setting line position of direct location, you have to learn how to center the communication cycles. This resets position location in your directions, all right? So you work with line position location. Okay, let's go in center line positions. Oh, this different color. Okay, so you start with the line setting. Okay, so give you guys a multipass. There's 12 lines of pyramids. Okay, single location line setting, equal locations of 12. All right, there's 12. There's 12 pyramids and 2 panels of communications into one road grass stream setting. Okay, so then you got your process of locations, all right? And then you have your solar generation light setting, okay? And then you got your position locations to your atom rotation. Center calculations all levels. So the crystal grid is leaving and the pyramid is coming in. So once it comes in position location of directions, it automatically comes into a diamond core. The diamond core sets line position. All right. Center its communication system. Top line setting automatically into 6 division lines, 7 in rotation, and 8 in an infinity system. 9 sets in the center calculation setting. Okay, that's how it's going to be set up. Okay, that's how it's going to be set up. So once you reach the 25,000 ground setting, okay, it elevates line setting and levitation locations. Okay, so you go from 25 in position locations. So we're going to be going in position between 1,000 channel operator stream location levitations into 0 gravity locations of 8. Once you reach 8, you come in position locations into all levels of 5. Okay, because 4 line setting location 9, 10, 11, 12, that's 12 central calculation setting, but you're high rising your division location. That's higher positioning your DNA track interference. That's going to center communication system to higher levels of travel calculation. All right. So the total central system is going to change division. Okay. So you start off 25,000 line. Okay. And we go up position locations between 500 to 1,000 line. Okay. 500 to 1,000. Okay. So you have line setting locations. So every week on the week, the ground line center is going to shift 500 line settings per second per channel per mile per operation location. The calculated setting line position location is this factor over space through time communications of pi. Now this operates a signal in high line setting rotations. So it's kind of like a rotation spin cycle when it starts at 0. It's again like connection positions. When you get in position line setting into levels of a Porsche, you start from 0 to 60, but you don't go with 0 to 60. You ram up to get to 60. It's the same thing with the ground setting. So in position locations, this is what's happening. Okay? Your grounds is high rising, levitating. 3 plateaus, high line centers, security measures, and position locations, and 4 channel operation streams. All right? So the center communications, once you understand the 6 platitude division location of 7 and 8 line setting and rotations of 9 circle locations is percentage location, right? So living the 100% calculation stream sets all division. So the physical element basically gets connected to the avatar line, all right? So once position of the pyramid is high center of calculation setting, it automatically comes into shift lines of anomaly to higher levels of space calculations. So at high crabs, it's center line rotations to atmospheres, in position location to hemisphere, line center location to stratosphere to locations of bio. Center calculation setting. Okay? Reaching higher levels of altitude locations, different oxygen line center, in high interference, oxidized communication setting, line setting interference, and direct locations. But that's how it's going to be set up location. All right? So every week on the week, you have 7-day signals. Those 7-day signal, line center, interference, okay? So think of the next day location, which is you have 7 days, including the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So every Monday in calculation setting, okay? The ground is going to levitate between 500 to 1,000 feet in line position. Acceleration line setting to 1 operation to 1 graph to 1 stream. Setting position locations into levels. So once it reaches in position locations, time factor high liner in position of space line comes into position of 6, 7, and 8. Equal line position locations. Now the CPU units and the digital computer programs locations will be in a full communications into its diamond core and direct signal. Okay? Direct signal into diamond core line setting. So it's plotted division locations. 8-dimensional space is setup location. It's a foundation ground setting. Okay? The central line setting in your levels of communication setting was three-dimensional locations of cosmic line setting location of graphs. Okay, that's the cosmic universe line position, which is all levels of 7. You have to start recognizing the avatar and how it's set in signal. How to allocate position of time and 6 position of probe locations to your moon, 7 positions to its cosmic universal line, in a relation position location to its relationship to your twin flame, to your aligned center and interference, in position to its calculation of levels. All right? So, in coming into the 8 central calculation setting, puts you in a higher position locations to your infinity. This infinity opens all position locations to your direction. So, once you get into that setting, it opens all calculation, travel calculation settings. All right? So, it's amazing when we come into those line signals. I think it's incredible force line. And it's great too that I can go live in position locations. In position of the computer, or line connecting to position location of my phone, or line divisions to center line position locations, calculation digital platform. So once you understand the reaching signals and set locations, this is you in channel line. Okay, it gets more easier. This is you location. That's you, right? So you levitate line setting, line position locations, all right? So you start with the 5 line center, 500 position location to 1000, right? So speed line center and gravity interference, the gravitational pull is going to push positions to its archetype position directions. It's going to spin you in spinner line setting line in rotation. So just leaving it line center location comes into this position locations of your Merkaba. Okay, now this is your pyramid line setting set in 4 line position locations of direction. Okay, so you start off locations. This is your pyramid right here at the bottom location. Right, as it comes in line setting, it's going to merge into a torical field line stream. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. So the central calculation is going to open up another solar graph stream location. Okay, solar winds, sector communications, and vector core line stream locations. That's what your pyramid's going to look like. Okay. So, be ready. I'll show you the graph stream location positions. Let's go through black setting. All right, this is your pyramid. Okay, that's your pyramid. So, every time you walk, you're walking on a continuous 4-line stream line. But position, location, and directions. So there's going to be 3 graph line centers or row graph locations. Now the inner line center is going to lace position location your T reception line. This is going to open all channel locations to its rainbow bridge into its frost bridge. Right? The pyramid activation stream location has to understand your DNA track line, which is 12 divisions. Each one is line positioning, right? So as you come into the ground surface locations, everybody is going to be in teleportation stream settings into 24,000 light signature patterns. This is going to change the geometry location of travel and position of its direction to its highline setting. This is going to open all communication setting and rotation system. Put you in higher level division locations, right? So once you get to the rainbow bridge setting, it sets locations of integration. It's all about merging your intelligent stream setting into the physical adaptation locations. All right. So, so setting locations, this is what it looks like. All right. Simple, easy, done. So everywhere you go, it goes. So if you're walking, this is what it looks like. Let's do a side profile. Okay, this is you in the side profile. That's you in the side profile. Okay. So your pyramid rotates. So whatever you do, it rotates. Sets position, location, directions. All those are channel operation stream location. Right? So it's going to get much easier for you. Your travels are going to become more real. Your mind conception line setting, your conscious line stream locations, change position locations into levels. You're going to be in supersonic mode. Now, supersonic mode location is its markable location of channel. The pyramid position location has a clock line setting in rotation system. Okay? The rotation system location is going to spin cycle line center in 3 direct locations. Okay? 3 direct locations, right? You are in the center communication in the center line of operation. So you control line center locations, right? So this is about understanding the new waving system. When you start living inside the pyramid, everything comes to its reality locations. Okay? This opens up a new graph location in a torical field setting in division location. Okay? So remember, you start off with 500 line setting. So there's 7 days a week. Every Monday in calculation setting, the levitation of the grounds is going to high rise in direct locations into your pyramid emerge line setting. 6 position location of 7, 7 position of 8, and 9 in the central communication. Casing information setting. Alright? So it's kind of like this. It's gonna go like this. You got space here, and you got the grounds here. So it's gonna come together as one, right? The central communication setting in line position locations is going to go to all track locations. 6 equals line center locations into geo, the geometric line center, energy line of operation locations, right? Coming to biokinetics, biometrics. Now, the biometrics are extremely complicated locations. Biometrics is basically the biosurface line. Now, a biosurface line is understanding your track communication system of your 12 DNA line setting. Okay? So it's more understanding position locations to its chemistry line stream. Setting line setting is truly understand position location of directions. So you don't have to worry about force fields anymore. You don't have to worry about energy fields anymore. You understand? You're going to be walking around in a pyramid. Think about that. Very powerful when you set line position of directions and you set laser of communications in 3 waving cycles locations. So that sets off beacon light position location into all levels of alpha channel communication of 4 waving cycles, center calculations in 8 center line position infinity, 7 communication to cosmic universal line, and ground communication system in the growth locations. Hoo-ah! It's very exciting when you actually get into your own teleportation unit. The physical element is going to change position location of directions. It's going to center its communication setting, open all setting line position locations into all levels of your chakra setting. Now, this is all about understanding how to see yourself in teleportation, telecommunication, code weaving, code activation, stream locations. Now, I know you guys have a lot of questions, but it's truly understanding this is going to be much easier for you guys. Because the hardest thing that you were trying to control was the cosmic grid location. Now that's a centerline center that you have to understand, because the thing is, you don't have to worry about force fields and E fields and platitude division locations, energy wall line settings. You don't have to worry about connections to outline circle line settings. You don't have to worry about the metric surface. You don't have to worry about the atmosphere line setting of change locations. All you have to understand the communication system is understand the communication to yourself of the pyramid system, how it works for you. So it works with you in a continuous force line. So the pyramid rotates its system, location setting, all levels of high setting interference, all position location of its directions, right? And the pyramid sets in location. It doesn't move until you move. So that's a magnetic wire line change in electrical light setting high line interference, taking platitude division locations calculation high stream. Setting position of direction is truly understand how to use it in all ways and forms, right? Your communication changes all cycles. Now the center line center sets all communication setting, right? This retracts its high interference and opens all program locations to your division, right? Truly understand how to represent yourself is truly understand how to use your own force calculation settings. So once you get into that, the pyramid does all the work. So the line setting location is all levels of how you use your thought location. Your thought is going to go faster. So everything that you say, the pyramid reacts to, right? So it's the physical line center that sets line position locations into all levels of channel. The operation system comes into all calculations into its satellite setting. Okay? Once it coordinates its high line center interference and position location of directions, the satellite channels its all operation setting. See the satellite communication? Changes the grounds, the atmosphere locations. Centers its communication setting, the rotation setting. Alright, so this is where it gets really exciting. So, there's only things I can give you in center communication. Alright? Now once you understand that, then you understand the satellite becomes you in the physical element line center rotation interference, sets up echo line, sonar line, communication line position of direct locations into higher channels of operation. Okay? It's more fun when you really get in that touch location of your system. Okay? You hit line position locations of beacon lights of sonar communication settings. So your pyramid is going to be in position of directions. Every time you channel your thought line setting, it's going to go through its own travel. So the body is going to be in a full reaction of your 12 line setting. Okay? And waking up to that 12 line setting opens up all channels into merge. When you merge, you teleport communication setting. Now, what you set locations to channels you in positioning your thoughts, and this changes all communication settings and all levels of you individual locations to your inner cycle. The inner cycle becomes a position locations all line setting. So the pyramid, anything thought location can change anything direction. So this is where it gets in higher line settings into hieroglyph locations of channel operation signals. Center communications into bracket interference of 0, 0, 0 the graph location equal line setting. Setting communication to graph locations, right? So your thoughts, every time you set a thought line setting, it sets up a bracket line center rotations of numbers. It's already in sequence pattern, right? Your data stream is already set up position, location, directions. It sets up the waving central communication setting in high interference and direct location of its space, of its time, calculation setting, rotation, interference, position, location of its directions. Ooh-ah. Right? Pretty amazing. These are data stream line settings, right? Waving central communications, all right? So it's all about understanding. You're going to have a little bit more balance in high setting locations, more control line setting to your body communications, less traction, more division lines, okay? Less resistance. So this is going to be fantastic when you guys come in that position location of its own physical element. The physical element is going to blend line setting in position location of directions. So the center calculation is already set up through code signal location. You don't have to worry about that. It's already set up through the pyramid. So this is about higher levels of conscious line. Now the conscious line changes location to graph locations. Let's say you center its generation line conditions of thought. Now you got thought locations into, let's say, 28,000 lines. Travel position location, that's 28,000 line seconds. High center and advanced position locations in a nanosecond. Split position location of directions into 60 seconds per minute per channel per operation. Now the square mile changes line position of the directory. The directory location changes its frame. The frame changes position location of directions. Direction changes all locations to your pyramid. Your pyramid activates your stream location, changes the graph locations into a number sequence pattern of a telecommunication of a call. The call communication comes in high set and high interference, sets position location directions, opens all channel operation stream locations into your new position of your Merkaba, your tesseract, and your tetrahedron, which means you don't have to do anything in that position location of direction. Isn't that amazing? So that's something to look forward to. All right. I think it's fantastic once you understand, once you get into the atmosphere line of your own Merkaba and your physical element. So your physical element doesn't have to do anything, right? The actual pyramid that sets its position of its direction knows exactly where to go in its frame. See, this is about understanding how to see locations of 8-dimensional space. Now, the 6-dimensional line setting is set up to know formation of a line that's in a sector of a vector of a new quadrant location. That sets position locations of your directions to space anomaly. Okay? So it's important you understand when you get into zero gravity, you know exactly what's going to happen with you when you come into higher formations of change of its division. Okay? So it's going to be a lot more fun for you guys. Right? You're going to understand more levels of rhythms, pattern problems, position line settings, rhythm interference, high center locations, observation circles, center communication line setting. You don't have to worry about triangulation. It's already set up locations. The pyramid does everything. All right, so that's something to look forward to once you get into zero gravity. Zero line center locations. 0 equals location of 8. Right? So once you come in at 8 central line center, the 8 becomes a full system locations into the line center location of a solar graph stream. Setting position location of levels. So the pyramid comes into a solar generation light stream line setting, sets communication to new sun, sets communication to new moon, to new flux capacitor line position location in center line positions, to new ground operation, to your pyramid system location. Hoo-ah. So, a lot to understand in central communication settings, right? It's going to be much easier for the spacing line to understand division, especially when you come to space anomalies, attractions, and locations. The observation line setting and everything through location is set up. So, starting now, okay, the grounds are going to shift week by week. Every Monday on the Monday line center location, it's always at 12 a.m. Mexican Central Standard Time. Mexico is center communication of all line setting, the highest formation of energy, the highest formation of communications to all levels of pyramids. The central communication system is all levels. Now, the line setting sets all communication settings. Now, in that position, location, and directions changes your DNA track per second, per channel, per operation, per square, per mile. Their sector line changes all line center locations. High channels is operation setting. So your position location comes into its own waving system. Now that waving system opens all calculation setting. Let's say you get into a thought channel and you want to direct a signal position location to a panel to somebody else on the team or anybody else in that relation. The pyramid sets up the position of the triangulation, sets up the core line center, knows exactly what to do through its position of directions. It knows its line positions to its heart generation light stream. It knows its 12 DNA line setting the high interference. It gets much easier when you come into communication to a voice box line setting to a computer adaptation surface that opens all communication center rotations. Okay? It gets much easier for you to understand this through operation. The inside position location changes all levels of you through your own intelligence of its awakening, of its awareness, into its perception of operation. Okay? That's why I wanted you guys to understand the waiting position is here and now. Okay? So it's going to be a lot more fun to understand how to set locations, right? Higher channels of operation signals anything through location of music, anything through tone, anything through observation, anything through formula, anything through abundance. It's all position location to your pyramid. Okay? And this is what you get when you're in 8-dimensional space line of communication. Right? So that's going to be fantastic when it sets locations. Right? Once it gets into zero gravity, it changes everything in its anomaly of its alliance. Right? 3 central line waves. Okay? Past, position of present, location of its future line conditions. Right? Alright, so code channel line position location directions. Alright, so we're going to go through stream setting. I'm going to set you guys up in line center rotation, know exactly what it feels like. Alright, starting in 0 line position location, high center interference, 25,000 line center. Okay, going to put you guys position location, locations, center calculation setting, code signals, high center locations. Now the 7-line center location is in a graph location. Stream locations into 24-line setting into 24,000 light signature. I'm going to put you in a 48,000 window, 72-line center, and at 72,000 location, in position location 144. 144 line position locations into high setting. Merge in position locations into your Merkabah position direction. Center calculation setting interference into team calculation setting. Platitude visual location, teleportation, line communication setting, code wavelengths, code activity stream locations. 6 position of 7, 7 position of 8, 8 positions of 9. 9 is the communication system. Put the line position locations and direct locations into plateau. Systematic line center locations, a relay, a run program communication initiate, and line setting. Open all communication setting, interference, position location, directions. All right. PCU position location, CPU line center line position location into digital computer program locations. Put them in the platitude digital locations into pyramid communication setting. All right. Setting calculation setting. Right. So 10-15 minutes on the watch, center line position location, direct line setting. Truly know what it's like to actually be in your own pyramid of activation. So think of it that way. It's a line setting in direct locations and how to channel into higher position locations of direct locations. Less hesitation, more understanding. Less in position locations in all levels of thinking and more position directions, right? So all levels of channel operation comes from you and your Merkabah. Your Merkabah sets positions of signals at high position location of its calculations. So seeing yourself in your new Merkabah, an actual physical element sets position of directions to know exactly what you're doing through navigations. Flight navigations, form line settings, high interference, understand position locations into all levels. When you come to an acceleration line setting, it sets position locations to Mach. Maching center positions of its directions, knowing exactly what to do. You don't have to touch any buttons or any of the line center. It does it on its own. Okay? So this is going to help you in all ways and forms to really understand how things are set up. You don't have to worry about the clock line setting. You don't have to worry about any position location of force fields, like I said. E-field line setting, force field communication system. You don't have to recognize your thought line setting because it's already set up locations. So everything that you channel off through thought locations, it does it on its own. It's its own formation and its own alliance. Okay? So you should be extremely happy at what's going on with you guys now. All right? I told you to wait on signal line interference. There's only position locations or track settings that I can give you. Now that's 5,000 channels of operation stream locations in its division. Future calculation setting sets line position locations on all levels. Sometimes you get position locations into all levels of 25,000 lines to 50,000 lines, maybe 150,000, maybe 1 million, maybe 1.5 million lines setting position location directions to computer operations setting locations. The true understanding is what is happening with you is all levels of balance, right? And once you get into your pyramid activation streamline setting, everything's all set up. So have fun with that. Know exactly what you're getting involved with. Say anything to the mind setting, it sets up the position locations. It doesn't matter what you say because it's already set up in its graph. It's already set up in its formula. Okay, I'm just showing you how powerful it is once you guys get into your own position of its realization of its Merkabah in the center line position of your tesseract of your computer operation stream into your connections to your octahedron, decahedron, or line positioning directions and how to understand the new calculations of new realm settings of 6, 7, 8, and 9 position of its location system. So yeah, no, it comes to a point where things get a lot more easier for you, right? It's going to be less pressure on the brain setting and more pressure on the position of the pyramid setting. So the pyramid does all the work. All you have to do is just balance out the communication setting and keep your emotional settings intact with yourself and each other. Stay in the emotional line setting and position location out of the equation into its formula. Okay, you can't set equation locations to emotional setting because it off systems your positions to your pyramid. Okay, if your pyramid offline setting locations come to general and I'll put you back in track locations to new tesseract stream locations. So you come into new binary setting. Okay, So it sets locations to all line setting when you come into bio connection line setting interference. You come into crypto communication settings. You come into the biokinetics, the biogeometrics line setting, the geometric locations, the high setting locations of energy line setting. There's all communication setting that set up position locations once you merge in position to its 8th dimensional lines of space. Right? So things are going to be a lot more easier for you now once you get into a line position. So it's kind of like the connections to your pyramid automatically takes over. Knows exactly what to do. So, and that's the process that you have to truly understand. And it's only line position location and calculations once you understand the frames. And once you understand the frames, then you understand how to get into transition to transmutation, position to your DNA of your 12 essential line position locations. Because each chakra is a pyramid activation stream location in division line setting. So once you get into zero gravity locations of 8 central line position locations, you finally come into your infinity system of communication of yourself and each other to its rotation system. Hoo-ah. So, how do you feel about that? All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, everything's going to be much easier once you get in position locations. I'm just giving you a test run to know exactly what it is through a position location. So it's a prodigy, all right? You're coming into a prodigy of self-line, self-reliance, self-division location, self-acceptance and high center, universal round calculation setting. Know exactly what it is in position, location of directions of travel. So this is going to be so much faster in position of correlation. Right? Anything that you say through thought line setting, you communicate to line setting locations to Merkaba, your pyramid position. Knows exactly what to do. So, this is going to help you in always in forms. It's going to be a lot more fun too. But I think over time, you have to truly understand that the pyramid becomes a guidance, and that guidance helps you in always in forms, and eventually you become all communication setting. So this is going to help a lot more position of your directions, and when you come into old systems, old programs, know exactly. Some are more deeper core line levels of implementation, high levels of channel operation stream locations in its high setting. So it's important you understand what you are getting involved with, right? Especially when you're in recharge, recalculate, redivide, realign, reassign, calculate high setting, high interference, direct location, position, direct locations. So things are going to get a lot more easier for you. That's going to help you tremendously. See? All you got to do is just have patience. Patience is a virtue in all levels, position, location, direction. So this is about understanding way beyond line connections of awareness. Because it opens automatically once it reaches zero gravity line setting. But to get that line center interference, the position of the ground has to levitate. It's like your chakra system merge into one. 114 chakras into one position, right? Space line setting. You have grounds, powers, and the atmosphere. One. Right? Everything has to balance into one. So that's what we're doing. We're integrating your settings. Okay? So you got the bottom pyramid line setting. You got the top pyramid line setting. Comes in position, location, directions to its Merkaba, a new channel operation stream location. That comes all division line setting to your geometric locations of new patterns. Right? So it's something to look forward to over time. Right? So the operation signals, the awareness, the position line setting becomes more real to the physical element. It starts recognizing these things, right? And that's what it is. Unified awakening, the ascension line center, is all positions of the mind locations, but the position of direct locations, I mean, you've always had the pyramid beneath your feet connections. You have to have that line setting. But in direct locations, you guys were living in crystal grid locations, right? So once those panels are taken away, the actual system location merges into position your directions, and solar generations light centers locks its locations into your 12 alignment settings and opens all frequency patterns and calculations to your computer operation setting. So, isn't that amazing? Isn't that something to look forward to? I know, I know. Mm-hmm. Lots less frustrating, right? It's kind of like something takes over the system line, puts you in directions to its higher levels of abundance, sovereignty, and freedom. Not becoming more aware of position of directions, but the thing is, it's already set up. So it's kind of like whatever you do, it doesn't matter because it fixes it on its own. It knows exactly what it's doing because it's merged into you. Okay? It's exciting. This is how you have to start seeing things and where they're supposed to be and where it's position of your directions, you know? Now we're in 40 line setting, 41 locations and 48, 49. I'll give you guys another 5-minute line setting. I'll take you out of your pyramid locations. At least you get the position of direct locations. It's like a prototype. I set you guys in the prototype locations of what it is, right? Your frame changes, your mind changes, your adaptations changes, your conscious line changes, everything changes. But just think how exciting that is. You just merge integration to one system. It's incredible force. Now everybody is going to be in that position of directions, but not everybody's going to understand it right away because it's all about accepting and moving forward. So when you let go of these things, the things work for its system, works on its own lines and calculation setting. So you just have to go with the flow, continuous line setting, open all line position, location, and directions, right? Great minds think alike. Yeah. It's great to see everybody. Yeah, surrender. I mean, you pretty much surrender to anything and at all levels, especially when you're coming to higher cell locations or dimensional space line. Right? But to put you guys in planet division locations, you guys have to be in your pyramids. Right? It's all level division locations all over the channel. It makes more sense when you come into that calculation stream setting, right? You know? So being in this position locations and all levels of channel operation, you understand your central system more and more each day. Things get easier. That's what it's going to be. Okay? So understand the north lines, understand the east, the west, and the south location of your diamond core line setting and division location. And then you understand your position locations to your torical field location. Right? Then you understand the operation line setting location, the circle locations, the ground setting. And you come into higher line position locations into your magnetic field location. So That channels his operation line setting and opens all communications into 3 waving cycles. High center generation lights in a ground location at 3 division location settings. Okay, this is extremely high rise in all calculation. Alright. So your pyramid can merge and change into anything through the setting. Okay. You just have to start recognizing these things and what it is. And when you get in position of integration, you understand a little bit more of levels of mind, of mechanism. Mechanism sets line settings. Okay, 3 line position location divisions to its magnetic fields changes the rotation spin cycle. Now this spin cycle comes into all position location of direction, into highest channels of operation. It wind cycles your position location of direction. Okay, and it opens all levels of channel operation stream locations into higher channels of streamline settings into position of direction locations. Okay, so you set position locations. Okay, like this, like this. Okay, you have the central calculation setting, right? And it's a lot more fun too, because once you're in your center calculation setting, it knows exactly what it's doing through all position and direction. So it's more fun when you understand what you're getting involved with and how to center its communication setting. It's all levels of travel locations and its direction. So once you get in that position, you get the archetypes. Now the archetypes come in all communication, right? They rotate your spin cycles in high generation light settings, right? So they go faster, 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 and faster over time. You can pretty much travel to any position location, any dimension, any universe line setting, any galaxy calculation setting, right? So this is going to be a lot more easier for the species communication setting rotation. And its division line setting. All right, it's taking you guys out of line center rotations, away to position locations into 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you guys are back. All through voice grid line centers, all line center locations. Put everything on standby, take out the prototype position locations, put the pyramid back in ground setting into 25,000 feet below location. There it is. So, it's interesting what just happened. All levels of channel operation locations. So, how's everybody feeling? How is everybody feeling today? You didn't expect that, did you, David? You don't know what to expect when you're with General, do you? Right? This is going to center communications of your mind adaptations to your conscious line. This is going to put you in a better visual location to understand more line center location of travel. So you don't have to do all the work anymore. Pyramid does it for itself. It does its own formation, does its own alliance, does its own travel. Right? I told everybody to be patient. And when you're patient, goes a long way. Perseverance, never give up, right? It's that calculation setting location of Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen. Never give up, never surrender. That's just based on a movie, but it's extremely powerful communication setting locations when it opens all channel location. So any questions or comments, let me know. Okay? Hope you guys enjoyed today's live. Sorry for the interruption occasions. It was just all levels. It's a good thing I can go through my computer or I can go through my phone line setting. So, I'll see you guys soon. Adios.